first thing that I did already, because I didn't know it wasn't recording, is I took a long wear eyeshadow, but you could also use a long wearing concealer to save costs for yourself, especially if you're just doing it for one day. I put this on. It's a long wear cream shadow, but it was a little too dark for my skin tone, so I lightened it up with some of my concealer. This is not, I would not just use this concealer alone because it does crease a little bit, but because I put it on top of this, it's not going to crease as much. So that's how I got this sort of like even coloring on my eyelids, which are normally very discolored. Okay, so next I'm going to show you a really cheap palette. That's a great option if you're a bride looking to do your own makeup. It's by Morphe, so it's on the more reasonable end, and that's why I'm sort of featuring it here, because I know you spend a lot of money for weddings and you don't always have a lot to give back to yourself. So this is their 9T Neutral Territory palette, and if I open it up for you, you can see it's nice neutral tones. It has this really light shade, which is great. And then it also has black, which is awesome because you don't have to buy eyeliner if you have black shadow. So I'm going to feature this palette. Another palette that I really love, but it's more expensive, but is great, is the Tartelette in Bloom palette. And this is a great bridal option because it has a lot of neutral tones, suitable for like every eye color. And really awesome. This shimmer tone down here is one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows ever. It's beautiful. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at with eyes. Those are the only two palettes I'm going to be looking at, and I'm going to focus especially on the Morphe one because it's the cheapest. So looking at the Morphe palette, just going to make sure my brush is clean here. I'm going to go with just a big fluffy brush into this lightest color, and I'm going to put it all over my lid to create a soft base. So I'm just going to dip in there, tap off any extra, and we're just going to sweep that all over. And it's not going to show up as much of anything because, which is fine, because we're just putting it on so that when we go in with those darker colors in the crease, they blend better and they don't get stuck to our primer too much. Like we want it to stay, but we also want to be able to blend it out. And then if you're using the Tartelette in Bloom, you could go into this light color here and you could pat that all over. It's the same idea. I'm just showing you it's not making any difference because I already have the other light color on there. But that's just another example of what you could do. Alright, so now that we have that base color on, I'm going to go in with a crease brush. And this is a flat sort of brush, and mine gets cleaned off because I'm going to clean my brushes. Although now is a great time to clean your brushes if you never have. Alright, so this is just sort of a flat, fluffy brush. Great for your crease for a lot of different reasons. But I'm going to show you, we're going to use sort of these neutral tones, but I'm going to mix them with this lighter one because on their own I feel like these are a little too dark just for shaping the eye. They're great for when I want to deepen the crease, but for just getting the shape of my eye, I really want even just a little bit more of a light taupe color. So I'm going to go in with this one because this feels a little warm for my skin type. And I'm just going to mix them back and forth. I'm only putting them on one side of my brush here. Press a little bit more in there. Okay. And then to find my crease, I'm going to start at the outer corner because that's where I want the most color payoff. So you always begin where you want the most color. And I'm going to look straight ahead. This is just a little hack that I have found to work really well. So if you look straight ahead, it's weird because you're not used to doing that, but you're just going to press it into your outer corner at the crease here, and you're going to sweep it across, sort of above your lid, okay? So I'm sweeping it in above my lid, and I have the color on the up side of the brush. So on the bottom here, there's no color, right? You can see it's clear, but on the top, I have the color. So we're just going to sweep that in, looking straight ahead, because if I do it like this, and even here, I can still see it's a little low. If I do it like this, and then I look straight, my eyeshadow often will disappear, right? That's what a lot of people do. But if you look straight ahead, you know, and you can see the color, which means that you have your eyeshadow high enough. You know, you don't want it too high, but I have a feeling most people put it too low, and that's more of the problem. So I'm just kind of starting at the outer corner and bringing it across, and then I'm going to close my eyes and see if you can see a difference. Alright, hopefully you can see a difference. Okay, so I did both, and this one, my eyebrow's a little funny on this side, so I kind of have to reshape a little bit, but I did both of them, and that just gives us our general shape. Now, the next place we're going to put that same exact color, oops, make sure I'm still getting it on the same side. I'm using the same brush, same exact color, but if you want to think of your eye in thirds, so you have this first section, and then you have the part over your pupil, and then you have the part which is your outer corner. I'm going to go for my outer corner, I'm just going to brush in a sort of like downward inward motion, and I'm just kind of patting and brushing to fill in that outer third along my lash line. And don't worry if you're doing this perfectly or not. As far as like out here, we will sweep away everything that's extra. The important thing is that you are blending it on there. Yeah, that's the most important. Okay, so I don't know if you can see a difference. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, just like that. And this is weird, where I normally do my makeup. So hopefully you can still see sort of what's going on. Okay, and I'm just gonna take my fluffy brush and go back in with that lighter color. And I'm just gonna pat that gently on the inner 2/3 to lighten it up. So above my pupil and on the inner part. So it gives me more definition, and then I'm gonna go back in to blend. All of this blending back and forth is optional, but it really is what's gonna give you that sort of exceptional look that you're going for, and really make it soft and bridal. You really can't blend too much, and my lighting's a little imperfect. So it's hard for me to see if I'm really getting this side. So I'm sorry if it's not like wonderful looking. Now I'm just blending all over where I have that darker color so that it's soft and smooth with a big fluffy brush. It's gonna be like the longest Instagram story ever, but hopefully it's helpful and hopefully it's worth it. So now I'm taking that same brush, but I'm gonna go into a darker color. So on this palette, I'm gonna go into this brown mixed with this one. Again, I'm mixing because I feel like that just feels better to me. It's not quite as intense. I never like take a color at face value, I feel like. So I'm just gonna pat into each of those. And I don't want too much color because it's darker and I don't want to be like scary looking. Again, starting in the outer corner and just sort of gently bringing that into my crease a little. But this time I'm not bringing it the whole way, I'm just keeping it into that outer corner. I'm gonna go over here and do the same thing, hopefully. So my lights have changed, so I wonder if I turn this up a little. That helps. Yeah, that helps a lot. Sorry, adjusting. And then I'm gonna pull that down in my outer corner. All right, so that's the basics of the matte colors that I'm gonna do. Now I want to show you some different shimmer options. So first option would be to take sort of like a light cream color, and if you have like a highlighter that's a creamy shimmery color, that's perfect. Anything like that. Now, I don't have like a perfect creamy example right in front of me, but I'm gonna go into this Tarte color like I was telling you, and I'm going to get my brush wet, and then I'm gonna put that on, and you're gonna see the most beautiful color payoff. So in order to do that, I'm gonna take a just flat brush. I'm gonna get these out of the way, and I'm gonna get it wet. Now, if I was in my bathroom, every day I just use water, but I'm gonna use MAC Fix Plus because I'm not in my bathroom. So I'm gonna get that wet, and then I'm gonna just pull it across this shadow. Okay. And then I'm going to put this on the inner like 1/3 to 2/3 of my eye. And I'm gonna start in the inner corner because that's where I want the most shine, because this is a trick to help open your eyes. And I have my eyelid closed. I'm just pulling it across, making sure I get the whole way up the lid to keep that rounded shape so my lid doesn't get flat but stays round. Lifting it a little, but I don't want to like go in my crease, like on the upper, underneath the brow bone. That's not what I'm going. Just on the lid. Oops, and it's a little not as wet as I want, but that's okay. And you can see how beautiful and like shimmery that is. And I'm just gonna close my eyes so you can see the difference. But I am gonna blend just this outer corner. You can use your finger if you want, it doesn't matter. Just to keep it a little softer. But you can see how much that just like brightens up the eye. Another option you can do is you can take, like, if you're not trying to do like lighter in the inner corner, darker in the outer corner, you can take like a shimmery neutral brown shade and you can use your fingertip and just press that on for like something sort of subtle and glowy, or you can do the wet technique as well. So I'm going to show you with my fingertip first, and this is like a taupey sort of brown, and I'm just going to put that on the same area. And again, this is not going to open my eye as much, but it's still going to be really beautiful and kind of like romantically smoky. Okay, I'm just patting that on. And again, it's kind of hard to see like what everything looks like with no other makeup on and all the dark fallout down here. But those are like two different looks as far as eyeshadow that you can do. I'm going to try to harmonize these now because they are different looking. So I'm just taking that neutral brown shade that I just did on the other eye, and now I'm going to go back in with that bright color, sort of like a shimmery golden pink. And I'm just going to pull that across this one because I want my eyes to match. It's important, right? Again, I'm not a professional tutorial maker, so I apologize if this is confusing or if you can't see anything I'm doing. Maybe we'll try again if this run doesn't go well. So I'm just gonna sort of lightly take my blending brush that doesn't have any color on, and I'm just sort of smoothing out the edges. And I'm gonna go back in. There's no color on that, I was just smoothing it out. Okay, and then another example of like you can use a highlighter is I'm just gonna take my ring finger and I'm going into this just like pinky highlighter color I have. I think it's Tarte. And I'm just gonna press that on the inner corner to lighten it up, and you can see the difference there. And that, again, these are all little tricks to help sort of open your eye. Okay?